Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you so much for joining this conversation, the talk show, which is extreme gratitude. I'm really grateful to you for taking out time and having conversation with me. So thank you so much and welcome once again.
Thank you, Advait. This is my good fortune that I'm here today, and I don't know how we found each other, but really this is something I would say mystic connections that I really connect to the word that you use, gratitude. So I think that was the connecting point, and
Absolutely.
that this conversation is really helpful for someone who listens to this.
Thank you. And you rightly said, like that's the whole agenda of this conversation. But before we go into discussion, I just want to make a few points. And what I know about you is that you're a mother, of course, and one thing is a little bit different from other mothers is that your son is autistic, right? He has autism from the childhood, and you are you're playing a major role in his life. uh, Apart from that, of course, we all have different challenges in life, right? So, and that's where I came to know about you from Geeta, our common friend. And then, I thought, okay, let me have a conversation with you to know about you and what do you do exactly, right? So, but I believe, you will be the right person to talk about you, about your introduction. So, Sangeeta, please introduce yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so Advait rightly said, my introduction would be I'm a mom. I have two children. My older one is daughter and who's married. My younger one, who's 24 years old, is on spectrum. So we started our journey about 23 years back, 22 and a half years back, to be
So,
very
Sangeeta,
specific.
1 second. When you explain and when you speak the technical words as a spectrum, please explain what it is for our audiences. So they may not be aware of what is spectrum.
Okay, I'll do that definitely. So when autism spectrum disorder is a neurodevelopmental disorder, and right now there's a lot of awareness about it. Many people know about it because many feature films or some TV shows are also coming nowadays. And but just to be saying that autism has four kind of challenges, I would say. One is the communication and social skills, repetitive behavior, rigid behaviors, and they might also have some sensory issues also.
Okay.
So, but once we say that these are the challenges, if you know one person with autism, you know one case of autism. That's why we call this as a spectrum. It's not
Hmm.
like one autistic child and you say that okay, this the other child is also going to be similar. This is also going to be non-verbal. This is also going to be very hyperactive and so on. So it could be like totally non-verbal. They could also speak very well because they lack social skills, or maybe because of the repetitive and very restricted interest, they might just want to talk about one thing.
Okay.
So that's where the autism spectrum is very, very vast.
Right.
So somewhere I feel it requires a lot of time also to get diagnosed, because sometimes when children are doing very well in certain areas, the diagnosis also gets very difficult. And for the parents also to understand that if the child is doing this well, why isn't
Mm-hmm.
he doing or she doing this? And for the
Mm-hmm.
society and the community as well, it becomes
Mm-hmm.
very difficult. The more abler they are, the life is tougher for them. But my son is somewhere from severe to moderate spectrum. He is a non-verbal child. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there have been phases of life. Now he's 24 years old. So we
Okay.
did try. I mean, like, that was the era when we started with the journey to get him diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
It was that era of no Google, no smartphones. So
Mm-hmm.
right now, when you want any kind of information, you just get it like that. You just say it, even if the spellings are not correct, you will get multiple choices. But
Right.
for us, it wasn't that. And
Okay.
I was, observing certain things in my son, that he's not smiling too much or he's not playing with other
And
children.
Sangeeta, when did you realize or when this got detected?
So
How
this
old he was? Sorry.
he got diagnosed at the age of 1 year, 8 months.
Oh, okay.
I actually saw something when he was 3 months old that when, a 3-month-old child, when we call the child, they
Mm-hmm.
would smile, they would look at you, and there's a kind of a eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I went to my pediatrician and said, like, my child doesn't look at me and I'm calling and he's not responding to me. And then she picked up my son up in the air and like said, like, oh, he's looking at me, he's smiling also, you just a hyper. And that's how I got labeled everywhere. They labeled me, I'm a hyper mom, and my mother-in-law and all the other relatives as well. They started saying, she keeps looking at her children and she's finding this is not okay, that's not okay. Nowadays, mothers don't have any other work, so they find out what's wrong in their child. So that's
Okay.
what I
Okay.
think I got labeled very early.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was a very tough nut, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I said,
Mm-hmm.
I think something as he was growing up, he was 1 year, 6, 7 months, or 8 months old at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I started telling my family, I think we need to go and show him to some doctor because he was very sick also, but he was speaking at that time.
Okay.
And he said, no, he's perfectly fine. I don't know what you're doing. What are you expecting out of this small child who's not even yet two? And so on. But
Yeah.
I said, like, yeah. And everyone said, like, okay, your wife is a weirdo person. You should go and take her to a psychologist. That's what was told to my husband actually at that time. And then I
Okay.
said to him, I said, like, if that's the case, at the end, I need to be going to the psychologist, and everyone says that there's a problem with the mother, not with the child. I'll be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And why don't we go once? Of
Mm.
course, we went there, and then I met my friend over there who did not say in the clinic, but she said, like, maybe he has autism. I said, like, now, what is this? Like the way you said, I was also not aware of what is this autism. Like, is this a disease? Is this what is it? Is he going
Right.
to lead a normal life? And I had like tons of questions, and I
Right.
didn't know where to go and whom to ask. All those things were there, and then I kept on asking. It says like I also don't know much about it, but we've read something about it. When the child is into this, he's not intellectual disabled, but he seems to be autistic.
Right.
So my journey began from here
From
to
there.
Delhi to
Mm.
Mumbai and everywhere to get him diagnosed. That was the start
Yes,
of
yes,
my
yes, I
diagnosis.
understand. And from whatever you just explain about you gave a quick history of what has happened, and of course, based on our offline conversation, you mentioned about how your life has been very challenging, especially when your son has this kind of problem, right? So from remotely, I can never imagine, and probably no one will be able to understand exactly what a mother has to go throughout all these years. But yes, I think that would be really interesting to know from you that okay, what were your thought process, right, during all these years, and how are you living actually? So, Sangeeta, my first question would be, like, how do you look at your life?
So I think everyone has challenges. There is
Mm-hmm.
no one person who would not have problems in their life.
Hmm.
The thing is that we will all have different set of problems. For
Hmm.
me, this came as something as a big shock. I would, not deny that,
Hmm.
definitely.
Hmm.
But are you going to turn that into something like a purpose of your life, an inspiration? That's what matters most. So my son gave me the purpose of my own life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think my love for him, or whatever I wanted to do something for him, that took me from one place to another, and thinking about, as like you say, that at the age of 40, sometimes all mothers are thinking about what the son would be doing, what their daughter would be doing as career, as profession. So my son gave me reasons to become a professional, from a conservative homemaker to become a professional here, is something he's given me. So I'm very grateful. Sometimes when the problem is there, you look at it in a different way, and if you look back, you say, this gave the purpose of your life. So I
Hmm.
think for me, if I have to say that going through this particular challenge has given me the purpose of my life.
Okay, okay, great, great. And Sangeeta, because again, I cannot even imagine the challenges and problems, but how do you how do you continuously put your trust in God or in universe that okay, whatever is happening is is His wish, right? So what are your thoughts about that?
So I'm a big believer of cosmic energies,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's not that you believe into it and everything will fall in place, everything will get fixed. It's somewhere that there is a tough phase in your life, and you will get that support system throughout
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
deal with your problems and sail through that phase of life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think if those things would not have been there, my life would have been very, very miserable. For example, I got to, we had resources. I could go to Delhi, to Mumbai, wherever I wanted. I could take that training. And right now, also the NGO that I'm working for is. I just got it on the like just it was all with beautiful infrastructure and everything. It was
Mm-hmm.
there for me to take over, and I started working for children with autism. So I think
Yeah.
the perfect thing that I would say for the universal or powers that we believe in is like, yes, it requires your action,
Mm-hmm.
divine power, and patience. So this is the perfect formula. I would say that it's not only about when we say about the universal powers that we believe in, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also do something with like what are you doing about it? What are your
Mm-hmm.
actions? So and yes,
Mm-hmm.
of course, patience is a big part.
Okay. Okay. And I strongly believe that person whatever he or she believe as a belief about any particular thing, right? So what are your predominant beliefs of life, the strongest beliefs that actually gives a power, right? And as per those beliefs only things happen. So would be really interested to know what are your beliefs.
So I believe that whatever is happening to us
Mm-hmm.
currently
Mm-hmm.
is 100% responsibility lies with us.
Okay.
Nobody is responsible for anything in our life, whether we are enjoying good times or we are enjoying or we are suffering at this point. So, whatever is happening, we've created some kind of causes and past in this
Mm-hmm.
lifetime only, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
in past.
Mm-hmm.
So, the effect is getting manifested right now.
So
And
basically, you are saying that your belief is that you are responsible for your life.
yes,
Each individual
completely,
is
100%,
responsible
not even
for.
99.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
So, and I think many people have these kind of questions like, I don't know what I've done this to, you know,
Hmm.
receive it this way. Because
Hmm.
sometimes you're not able to fathom it, like, I don't know if I've done so wrong. But I
Hmm.
think this philosophy helps you to keep calm and take 100% responsibility. So
Hmm.
sometimes you need to create a story around whatever is happening to you where you are empowered, where you are
Correct.
able to take the your power back and
Right.
not become a kind of a victim that I don't know and feel that helpless. So once
Hmm.
you understand that this is my life, I
Hmm.
have to take the responsibility.
Hmm.
People will be there to support, they
Hmm.
might not be there, but
Hmm.
then again I need to continuously keep working on it. So
Okay. Yeah.
the most important part is if we believe into it, that
Mm-hmm.
my life is my responsibility, we are
Mm-hmm.
able to work on it more positively.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And I ask this question to all my guests, Sangeeta. So I'm asking you also. What is your definition of self-love?
So, self love, as everyone says, it's
Hmm.
like being compassionate to yourself, and it
Mm-hmm.
would be like a friendly, kind advice as you would give to your friend, who's going
Mm-hmm.
through a tough time or whatever.
Hmm.
good time. So what if whatsoever that would be a kind advice that you
Mm-hmm.
need to give it to yourself when you think of a friend you want to give.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are very, very hard on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to us, we want to be like, no, no, we give 10,000 justifications. So, yes, pampering, doing things that you love is
Mm-hmm.
definitely very, very important. But I
Mm-hmm.
think self love doesn't end here.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Self love is also to explore yourself, your own traumas, your fears, your insecurities, what you like, what you actually want in life. So that kind of exploring is really very important. You need to invest in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
get in touch with your true self, who
Mm-hmm.
you are,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then work on it. Because if you're going to work superficially, it's just going to be very temporary.
Mm-hmm.
So self love has to be like identifying yourself and
Mm-hmm.
then dealing with it, working on it to become a joyous person and also evolve as a better human being.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Now, Sagita, I'm taking this conversation to a little bit philosophical and spiritual. Uh, so, do you believe that like child before coming to this world, they choose their parents? That okay, as a soul level, they choose that okay, I want to be in this family. Do you believe in such concepts?
I believe everyone is choosing.
Okay.
It's not about the child choosing the parents. I think we all choose all relationship, whether it is spouse, whether it is in-laws, whether it is parents, whether it is siblings, whosoever. It's
Mm-hmm.
not a coincidence that we all come together and live
Mm-hmm.
under one roof. So
Mm-hmm.
we have some kind of karmic connection,
Mm-hmm.
some karmic account to settle down, or a some kind of retribution we need to do with each other,
Mm-hmm.
and we all choose each other, and that's how we are together. But
Mm-hmm.
I think with mother and child, that's little more special,
Mm-hmm.
because how mother would believe in that uh, child in their potential. I think that's really very, very special about it. So
Yeah.
I've always spoken to many mothers. When I'm in my office also, they would say, my child can do this, but he doesn't want to do. So I
Mm.
sometimes look at the parent and feel that this mother's love and something, that potential that my child has, this belief
Mm.
is so beautiful.
Mm.
And even if she's very strict or reprimanding her child, it's out of
Mm-hmm.
that pure love and concern that I know you can do better. It's not to put down. It's not to, say that you're not good enough. It's like you can do better. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that child also sometimes would listen to his or her mom, anything they
Mm.
say, and then
Mm.
they know the mom loves. Whereas if anyone else says, they not they can't even listen. So I think mother-child bond is really very special, and
Why,
we are there.
like I have also, we have seen in movies and, we listened to so many people that, okay, mother and son relationship, that bond is really special. And I think it is, much more, I would say, very different from other relationships, right? What is that reason, why it is like that? It is because like, child is born from a mother and not from a father. And probably that a very strong connection, it is because of that, or
It's basically, I feel, as mother, you're always a nurturer, a giver. A feminine energy is always a kind of that caring part. Although
Mhm.
fathers are also very caring, they're also very loving. It's not that fathers do not, but somewhere that comes very naturally to a woman.
Mm.
Especially when you have kept it, when it's a part of you for a very long time. You've kept
Mm.
child in your womb for 9 months, so it
Mm.
becomes even if I always say that even if the child is born, the placenta is never cut. That
Mm.
invisible placenta is always there with that child. So whatever the child is doing, there is a gut feeling, my child is doing well, my child is eating or whatsoever. So I think
Mm.
that connection is little special because
Especially.
he holds on to that placenta for even if
Mm.
the child becomes or adult, 50, 60 years. I
Hmm.
think you're very concerned, like khana khaya,
Hmm.
how are you doing? So those
Hmm.
things, small things, also matters.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And another thing, like I'm also practicing sometimes whenever it is possible about self, the forgiveness, basically, not only to self but to others, of course, right? So, do you work on those concepts, or what's your idea about that on forgiveness?
So forgiveness is actually a very, very tough journey because it's
Mm,
associated with, a lot of guilt, shame,
mm,
hurt,
mm, mm,
and I think for others also and for us also, we sometimes find very difficult to forgive ourselves because
mm,
you feel that I could have done this, I don't know how to forgive because of this has happened, or probably in your situation in your life also,
mm,
things have happened where you're not able to justify it.
mm,
Feel that I don't know why is this happening to me. I didn't do anything wrong. So it's a very very tough journey.
mm,
And in this tough journey, I believe how I've understood and working on it
mm,
is it's a gift. Forgiveness is a gift that you give it to yourself for
mm,
your own peace of mind.
mm,
Keep your calm, and you are able to move on because otherwise you will be stuck in that.
mm,
So it's not about forgiveness, is not like saying like whatever has happened in my life, it is okay.
mm,
And sometimes we are not able to forgive others also is because if we forgive them, the same thing that they will do with us again,
mhm.
and I won't be able to take care of.
Yeah, yeah.
That's basically the idea behind why we are not able to forgive others. So
Mm,
it's not always forgive and forget.
mm,
I feel you can forgive,
mhm,
that you can do. Forget, we are very intelligent people.
mm,
Neurologically, we are wired like that we need to
mm,
remember in our
mm,
past about the dangers or
mm,
uncomfortable situations to protect ourselves.
mm, mhm,
So yes, of course, with time we can, those unpleasant memories will fade away, or with time you're able to build up on the new experiences, new learnings. There are new
mhm,
learnings. You discover something new about the person or the situation,
mm,
whatever it is,
mm, mm,
and you develop the trust. So, but most important over here is forgiveness is a gift that one should give it to self to, move on in life.
mm,
Because we really do not know if the other person is suffering or not, but you, by not forgiving, you are suffering.
yeah,
And
yeah. Mm,
and one of my friends really told me a very beautiful thing that you're trying to seek justice from the people who are done wrong to.
mm,
It's like very weird. You cannot expect justice from them. So when you
mm,
forgive people and say like it's okay, of course you need to set boundaries with them. That's really very very important.
mhm,
And either they will evolve to rise up to match your frequencies and vibrations and be with you, or
mhm,
they will go away peacefully
mm,
somewhere, when you're not interacting with them. So I think that's where the forgiveness should be taken. It's not like okay, everything has to be like all good after you forgive. There has to be phases. It also depends on the situation, on the other people, on yourself, how you've grown as person in life. I think it is again a journey which we can take as life unfolds.
mhm. No, great, 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 great. Okay, that was little bit heavy, and but yes, I think that is very important. Forgiveness and self-love. Uh, right. Okay, Sangeeta, I'll ask a very simple question. Name three things, or probably a situation or anything that you are grateful for.
I'm grateful for all of my challenges in my life. I think
Okay.
all the challenges because is pushed me to go to another level of what wherever I was.
Okay.
So even if while I was when I had my child, I went for training. When I had problems at my workplace, I started studying again, and I did my courses. So I think, and even if in my life, to rediscover what is self-love, what is how to live for yourself and take care and probably make harmony, balance, everything. I've learned it only because of whatever has gone wrong in my life.
In
Because
my, yeah.
till the time things were going okay for me, I was definitely very grateful for them. It's not that I wasn't grateful about them, but I think right now, if I look back, I feel that um, it's the gratitude that is coming to me as in the when I look back and I say, okay, this has gone wrong, but I'm so grateful that this happened to me, and because of that, today I am here. And I've started practicing it very religiously since 1.5 years, I would say. So even if
Practicing what?
gratitude.
Practicing. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I always write. I start my day by journaling some grateful moments in my life. I want to start my day with feeling gratitude, and some days are not that nice and good, as we are all aware of. So it may just come a little mechanical. But as you keep writing, there will be a time when while you're writing and writing, the emotion will arise in you, because gratitude is about the emotion. It's not about saying thank you or it's about feeling good. That gratitude is like feeling grateful deep inside you, is a very very strong emotion, and you need to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if you do this continuously, I'm sure that even if things are not going okay, you still keep your calm, you're still connected to people, and you're able to, evolve in a better way. You're always optimistic. I mean, again, you need to keep trying, you need to keep working on this. So, gratitude is something, is the most important and beautiful part of life.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And of course, since like with all these challenges, people always go into that negative mode or victim mode, and I'm sure you must be going through this situation many times, right? But then how do you reconcile with yourself, and then you come back again with that mode of that, okay, no, I need to work on myself, I need to take the responsibility of myself, and so that would be really good to know from you, like to coming back again and again to the normal mindset.
So I read a lot, and I read somewhere by Brené Brown, who she talks about, it's very courageous to acknowledge that we're all very vulnerable. So
We all are very sorry.
We're all very vulnerable.
Vulnerable, yes, yes.
To get into that, all those are weaknesses and being into that victim mode. So we all get into that victim. I think none of us is like we're all the warriors and take care of it. We all slip into that zone of where we feel helpless, frustrated, and all those things. Where we feel we are, this person is responsible for my suffering, or the situation is responsible for my suffering. The most important part to it is to identify, to recognize. Once you recognize, you acknowledge, and you have to accept that I am into this phase of my life where I am feeling as a victim. So, unless and until you don't accept anything, you're not going.
Yeah. And I think, before acceptance, what I have realized is that, you have to acknowledge basically. I think you are saying the same thing probably, because, you need to acknowledge that, okay, you are struggling with something. Then, once you acknowledge, then you start probably accepting that, okay, yes, I have this anger issues, or yes, I am, weak at this particular area of my life, and so on. But yes, please continue.
So when you accept it, you're going to work on it. Mostly what happens when we are into that victim mode, we want to, we crave for those sympathetic words. We want all those nice things to be told. Oh yeah, that's very bad. That should not have happened. Something like that. We're seeking that sympathy from others. Whereas I feel that at that time, once we understand that I'm into victim mode, we need to get associated with little I would say people who would show you the mirror, tell you the truth. that right now you're feeling this way, and maybe a little hand holding, yes, of course, a kind, compassionate, thriving talk, which will put you back on the track, and they will help you to take your power back. Because you've given the power to other people, how they're making you feel. So once you take your power back, you're able to take life in a different way. But that's again, I feel that particular phase of our life, we don't want to speak to those people who are telling us the truth or showing us the mirror.
Exactly. We
So
want that
I think,
comfort zone.
yes,
Yeah.
those are your people. You should never ever lose them. What we do is I don't want to hear all those things.
Yeah, basically we should have some critics also in our life. Right? Some
So it's not
critical.
critics. It's actually, I think they are your best well wishers,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they want you to be happy.
yeah.
They want you to be happy, and that is why they are telling you the truth, that you need to take the responsibility, not the other person. You can't change others. So if this is your well wisher, this person will only talk to you that
Correct.
okay, you take the responsibility.
Correct. No, and that is the last point that you mentioned, that okay, we should have such people in our life, not those who not only give you a comfort zone, but show you the mirror. I think that is very important, because you have that freedom to choose your friends and, your network. But then if you always go to the people who will give you, okay, nahi, nahi, yaar, you are right, chalta hai, then
Yeah,
you will
that's,
never
I
grow.
think we all want that only when we are suffering. Somebody says like, yeah, I know, I understand, I know, that that only helps you to vent out. Doesn't take you anywhere.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Probably my last question, Sangeeta. Of course, from whatever you explained, there are so many things that you have learned throughout your life. But is there still anything that you want to share about your learnings of life?
So yeah, there've been a lot of learnings, but I feel when I am right now meeting people, especially I work a lot with children, and now I've started working with the mothers and women also. So I feel it's a very lonely place. This world is a very lonely place, and everyone is seeking out a connection. But however, I feel that we're trying to connect with others, but unless and until we connect with our own selves, you know, what we are thinking, my intentions, my actions, sometimes they're such in contrast. What I think, what I'm saying, and what I'm doing is not at one level. So, and we say, no, but I want this, I really want this, but I say like, but what you're doing is totally opposite to it. So I think somewhere when you connect to yourself completely, you'll be able to connect with others as well. So we should work on ourselves to identify where we are at disbalance, and then that's where we will be able to connect with others also very beautifully. And people, like they say, you're not understanding me, but I think that's what we need to take into consideration, all aspects of life. And when things go wrong, we learn at that time only. And yes, when the things are going well, we are into that grateful zone that everything is going well. But I think when things are not going well, we need to bounce back, and resilience is the power to bounce back, and the responsibility, as we started our talk, like 100% responsibility lies with you and only you. So if your why is very clear in life, if your goal, your desire, whatever you want in life is very clear, that this is what I want. So in any ways, whatever you want to achieve in your life, even if you want to, some kind of particular weight, you will have to work for it. There will be some kind of cost that you will have to pay to reach there where what you want. So it could be developing new skill sets, new learning habits. It could also be leaving your old patterns. It could be anything. But if your why is bigger than the cost, then you're going to continuously work on it. If your goal is very small and you don't think it's too important for you, you're going to quit midway. So very important to you, I think should be like, I want my why to be very clear so that I consistently keep working on it and I do
Mm,
not quit midway. I think
absolutely.
that's how we should be choosing our goals. Otherwise, we start and then we stop midway. That should not be the case.
Wow, wow. Extremely, extremely inspirational, Sangeeta. And like especially when I came to know about your thought process, I was just I also came to know during this conversation that you are also focusing much more on being true to yourself, right? So that is very important, and I think that is a struggle for many people. We can fool ourselves very easily, and but from your explanation I found that you totally endorse this concept that okay, you need to be very critical to yourself in so that you improve yourself basically. Otherwise, it's very easy to go into victim mode and get everyone's this kind of way nahi ho jayega. You are right, you are right, right. Wow,
Thank you
good,
so much.
good.
I guess, like, I understand that we're all on the journey and supporting each other.
Yeah.
Only why we hide ourselves is basically because of so many judgments around us, the self judgment that we're carrying through our childhood, or whatever, the people around us are judging us. So
Hmm.
I think that's what blocks us to be true to ourselves.
Hmm.
And I've learned this from my children, my special children, this true to be oneself, because you don't have to become someone to please or
Hmm.
to love someone. You
Hmm.
are good enough as you are. So I think
Wow.
this is the pure world that I work here, and I call this as my happy place. All Everyone over here is very very passionate, and
Hmm.
I think my most of my learning lessons have been I've got from the special children.
Hmm. No, I mean, if I see your journey, I mean, it is literally like, it's not even a steady, curve progress, but it's totally
I really don't
amazing.
know if I can say that for myself, but yes, been very
No,
very
because why
fortunate.
why why I'm saying is that because for you or for anyone, it is very easy to go into or fall into that victim mode or into that bichara wala mode, right? I mean, people are there to support, right? कि भाई, okay, but you chose to grow and doing all these things is really amazing.
Where I've gone through
Uh,
my own phases of being very low, very
of course,
vulnerable,
of course, of course.
everything.
But
But I
coming
think I
back,
worked on myself.
but
I
yes,
worked on.
coming back again and again, and that only happens when you work on yourself. You rightly said.
I've gone
Uh,
through a lot of where I mean, like, and I think when I reached that rock bottom, I said, I can't identify myself. Why am I doing this? Why I've become like this? And I need to do something about my own self because
yeah.
I couldn't identify myself. So I
Hmm.
think you reach there and then you bounce back. That's what is more important in life.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Sangeeta.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and I really have a great respect for your thought process and the way you are conducting yourself. So yes, thank you so much. You are really contributing to this world in many different ways. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. I think you saying a lot about me. Everyone is contributing in their own ways, and I'm doing my little part of what to make justify that I exist in this world. So I'm doing my part of it.
And I think probably only mothers can do that. They have this special blessings probably, even if we have seen in movies, right? If you have seen the movie Mom, Sri Devi wala jo
I did.
movie,
Yes, I
right?
did.
I mean, so anyway, thank you, Sangeeta. I
Every mom has that
think
Durga avatar, no? Because every mom becomes Durga or Kali for the child.
that's
That's
right.
true.
Yeah,
पर्सन माइट वो बहुत देर तक दबे रह सकते हैं when it comes to उनका बच्चा then she has this
yeah.
version of Durga and Kali.
Hmm. Okay. Yes, yes, Sangeeta. All right. Thank you so much, Sangeeta, once again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.